Guys, it's finally happened. Summer vacation has officially begun. I can't wait to play so many video games, maybe even make one, go swim, go use my go-kart. I'm gonna have so much stuff to do. And on top of all of that, guess what? I won't have to do a single piece of math. Damn it!
Games are fun, but there is an issue.
Wait. Did I have essay due? Who cares?
Well, I'll tell you who cares. Your parents and other functioning members of society.
I knew I couldn't trust Dad!
Thus, instead of trying to pry children away from their entertainment software, they put education in entertainment, making edutainment software. These games are fairly common. I mean, we've all played at least one of them, right? Please, I need to share my trauma with someone. So let's take a look at a few of them I played growing up, starting off with something that just makes sense to be taught in game form: typing. A skill that is darn near crucial today because
Who do want to use this shit?
today more people type than actually write, so of course it's an incredibly important skill to not only learn, but master. So to get kids hooked on it from an early age, many keyboarding games are made. But the one I liked the most as a kid was Nitro Type, a typing racing game, and man, was this the shit back then. Racing your friend to get faster and faster times was always such a fun time, and the added mechanic of the Nitro Boost allowing you to skip by dumb words was extremely fun. And on top of all of that, it had so many cards to collect and so many events to participate in. It was a blast. However, there are some drawbacks.
What do you mean Nitro Type isn't perfect?
For one, Nitro Type, though fun, is hardly what I would call a good teaching tool. It doesn't teach you anything like the home row and such, so it's gonna be super annoying if you don't know how to type. However, at the same time, we all type in different ways. It's kind of dumb to teach a kid how to type the quote-unquote right way, because everyone types their own way pretty much. Sure, we all kind of use the home row, but I kind of just do my own thing and I still get the job done, so whatever. However, the biggest issue is that this costs money.
Look, I love Nitro Type, but I wouldn't sell my firstborn just to get the membership. Maybe my second.
The game isn't crazy expensive, but the real kicker is that this is a yearly purchase, which low-key kind of sucks. However, there is one bright side to all of this. The goddamn founder / creator of Nitro Type friended me on this. This is not a joke. I don't know if he just does this, but he's friended me here. I don't know, maybe he's a fan of the channel. In that case, please put me in the game somehow. That would be so hype. Also, free membership for life maybe? Moving away from the game where the literal creator acknowledged my existence, we have one where I wish they would. Animal Jam is a classic educational game, but is it really?
Wow, I never knew wolves existed.
Yeah, this game isn't all too educational. It's more like if Club Penguin was giving you random fun facts every 5 seconds. The reason for this is because it's made by National Geographic of all people, so it had to be somewhat educational.
Disney owns us now. We live on the worst timeline.
The game is decently fun and full of tons of fun minigames. However, as a kid, I was ashamed to be a fan of this. Why?
I honestly don't know. I think I was just embarrassed to be alive.
I guess I thought this was more for young girls, but like, no, it's pretty explicitly for all genders and all ages, but whatever. This is a fun game, is what I would say if it didn't have the most egregious membership system. How much for a membership and people are complaining about Mario Kart World's price? This is just outrageous, and what's even crazier is that I paid for this crap. To be more exact, since I was a pretty good grandkid, my grandma paid for this.
And that's why my family is now permanently in debt.
Now whenever my grandma's running short on money or something like that, I always feel like a piece of crap because instead of paying for her bills, she paid for funny outfits for my tiger. Anyways, let's move away from a game that put my family in debt to a game that put my school in debt. Big Brains. This was an interesting game to say the least. It was kinda 3D and also 2D at times. It was split into 4 games, each being a different type of math problem: addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and division. And every 5 seconds you were stopped in your tracks to solve a basic math problem. And guess what? It's not very fun.
In other news, I have no subscribers.
I mean, the game isn't bad, and there's parts of it that are decent enough, but like, it's also Big Brains. There's not a lot to say. However, I will say this. It ran like shit on my school's old PCs, to the point where my entire school got another set of new computers, just to try and get this to work. And when that couldn't run it, guess what? They bought another damn set. But hey, it's nice I get to play at high FPS now, I guess. All of this for a dumbass green dinosaur that isn't even named Yoshi.
Man, I'm so pissed. I need to feel a new emotion right now. Great. Now I'm fucking terrified.
This is Renegades. And this is my sleep paralysis demon. Spot the difference. I don't know why they designed the character to look like this, but whatever. This is a game all about reading practice, and it's easily the least game out of all these games. You kinda just click on stuff to solve light reading puzzles, and it's not fun at all. And honestly, this guy makes me so uncomfortable that I'm not even gonna play this anymore. Man, I just need to talk about something else. I mean, that is something else. This is Kahoot, aka what if we put Jackbox in a school? I don't think that's legal. This is a trivia game that you connect to via room codes on your device and you answer questions, and it's shockingly fun. It's always fun to try to be the best of your class, and one wrong answer basically means you're out of the game though. So just give up. That's the one big problem. It makes it hard to really get into the game, but it's still fun overall. And also, it's a genius idea to help kids study for tests. There's so many tests that I would have absolutely bombed if it weren't for Kahoot. Heck, it can even work as the big test. I've seen teachers make it the big final and just grade it based on that. It is undoubtedly a great tool for students and teachers alike. But if we want more of a game than Kahoot, then we have Blukit. This is a lot like Kahoot, but instead of just answering questions, you also play a wealth of fun games. Okay, the games aren't that fun, and oddly enough, a lot of them are knockoffs of indie games like Slay the Spire and Vampire Survivors. But it's still a fun time overall. And it's better than just playing nothing at school, so that's something. And at my school, it quickly began to overtake Kahoot in popularity, so Kahoot did the only thing it could. The exact same thing Blukit did. Yep, now Kahoot has minigames just like Blukit, however these are even less fun. And some of them even require a membership, just to play them. Speaking of memberships, you have Gimkit, by far the most game out of all these games. Because holy shit, is that a video game with controls and gameplay? Yep, for the most part, Gimkit is a real-ass game with real-ass game modes. However, for one, if you want to play certain modes, you gotta pay up. Plus, if you want a ton of people in one room, you also gotta pay up, and that's just not fun. Also, the game isn't fun. The game has this stupid energy mechanic that just stops you in your tracks every single time. Because once you run out of energy, you have to just answer a bunch of questions, and it's not that fun. And it may at first sound like a sound system, but it just really isn't at the end of the day.
It's almost like I'm learning and not playing a real-ass video game. What the fuck?
However, all these educational games rarely left the PC realm. Why?
Your principal doesn't want to deal with this.
Video games are pricey little pieces of crap, so trying to get NES, for example, in every building in the school is damn near impossible. My school can't afford half-decent Wi-Fi, much less a Nintendo Switch 2. So you know what they did instead? They used PCs or Chromebooks. They already needed them for classwork, so just playing games with them was the perfect fix. So you would think, if ever, we would never see edutainment software on the big boy consoles. You would think. Despite this, game consoles see a wealth of edutainment games being made for them. Heck, even the big publishers like Nintendo themselves often go out of their way to develop them themselves, like Brain Age and Big Brain Academy and Game Builder Garage. However, those were all new IPs made to be edutainment software. Is there an example of Nintendo turning one of the most beloved IPs into glorified school simulators? Yeah. Nintendo actually has quite a history of doing this. It can all be traced back to Donkey Kong Jr. Math, which, believe it or not,
Freaking sucks!
this is a game that reuses the same engine as original Donkey Kong Jr., which also used the same engine as the first Donkey Kong. So this game is basically just a bunch of old stuff all packaged together to try and get your brain working somewhat. Which for me, that's pretty hard.
Shit, was I supposed to be doing something?
In this game you solve basic addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction puzzles, and more. And guess what? It's not very fun. The game also has the audacity to imply that you have to have 2 players at all times, which is really bold to do, since it's hard for me to get one person to play this. Do you think I can get a second person to hop on? The game is not only incredibly slow, much like DK Jr., but it's also math too. So by combining 2 things that are already slower than the slowest of snails, you actually invent a new kind of speed, reverse light speed. I mean, what is there to say? You see what you get here. And what's weird is that Nintendo is proud of this. They release it quite frequently on NSO and such. And despite this game's poor reception, they continue to make more and more educational games. With the next ones being Mario's Misty and Mario's Time Machine being hated by most people, and often being seen as the worst Mario games ever made.
Wait, what the hell am I doing? Is this how I'm spending my summer? Playing a bunch of edutainment games? I could be doing so much more right now. And before I know it, the summer will be already
Several months later.
over. I have all this shit to do!